Educational GMAT. Your partner in your GMAT journey.
Post-Gazette's conclusion. Tell me, what is the conclusion? Sorry? Very nice. So overall volume of retail stores was lower last year than it was year before, right? That's the report. Correct? And we have to weaken this. All right. So this is clearly some kind of a newspaper, right? Post-Gazette. Chabberton is obviously some kind of a location, right? It's a location, a place, a city, whatever. That was quick, guys. Edward, the year before last was a year of record sales, with most stores reporting their highest sales volume ever. Okay. Yes, friends. Alpha, Edward. All right. So let's look at this. We are talking about last year and last to last year, correct? Last year means current year -1 and current year -2. Okay. Now, according to the argument, basically, what is the argument concluding? That let's say if this was $100 total retail sales, how much would this be? 150. Correct. 2 years back it was more. Last year it was less. All right. On what basis are they arriving at this calculation? Sorry. Total. Okay. All right. All right. You're getting more technical than it needs to get. On what basis are they arriving at this? Sorry? Same stores. The stores that were operational in both the years. All right. Let us say there were 5 retail stores that were operational in both the years. All right. So the total sales volume of all the 5 stores 2 years back was 150. And last year, the total sales volume of all the 5 stores was $100. On the basis of the fact that the total sales volume of these 5 stores was lesser last year than it was last to last year, what is the argument concluding? Overall volume of retail sales in the entire city was lower. Now think about it. And we have to weaken this, by the way. All right. Now, decrease in sales of all retail stores that were in business in Chabberton throughout both these years essentially was less. On the basis of the argument is concluding that overall volume of retail sales in the entire city was less. But what if new retail stores opened in Chabberton last year, offering high quality merchandise? Notice that's exactly what Alpha says. In that case, perhaps People in Chabberton shifted from buying from old retail stores to new ones. All right, we'll come to that. So do you guys get this? This entire $100 versus $150, this was a statistic that was arrived at taking into account the 5 retail stores that were in operation last year. They were also in operation last to last year. What Alpha is saying is that last year, what happened was there were several new stores that opened up. So clearly, this does not take into account the retail sales of the new stores. Why? Because these statistics are arrived at on the basis of the sales volume of retail stores that were operational in both the years. So which means this does not take into account the retail sales for the new stores. Perhaps the retail sales of new stores, because they were offering merchandise at competitive cost, perhaps let's say it was $60. In which case, last year, the total retail sales of Chabberton as a city was actually not 100, but how much? 160, which would be greater than what the retail sales was last to last year. Is the logic clear? All right. Now let's look at other options. Okay, why is Baker not correct? All right. What in any case, if this is true, then this would be true last year. This would be true last year also. Right. So that does not give us any reason to differentiate. Okay. Most of the Chabberton stores that the survey covered, again, Charlie would be incorrect for the same reason, yes, that this there is no reason to believe that this was any different last year than it was last to last year. It would be the same, right? So that would not really explain the difference. Most, sorry, it does say that the number of stores were same, because notice that's exactly my whole point, that this 100 and 150 that the argument is arriving at is essentially taking into consideration only those retail stores that were operational in both the years. So which means the number of stores is the same across both the years. Are we clear? All right, let's look at David. A separate survey of manufacturing businesses. Now, this will be completely out of scope because we are only talking about retail sales here. So manufacturing out of scope. All right, let's look at Edward. The year before last was a year of record sales for retail stores in Chabberton. Okay, all right. Can someone explain why Edward is not the right answer? Sorry. Sorry. Now,
stores.
yeah, go ahead.
No, I was saying it says most stores reported their highest sales versus the premise says all retail store survey.
Oh, premise is also saying whether the overall volume, it is not really talking. Guys, what this is doing is this is strengthening the premise. See, the premise already says that last year the sales were more, correct? This is also saying that this was record sales. As I did mention, we are not strengthening or weakening the premise. We are strengthening or weakening the conclusion. Are we clear? The argument says last to last year, the retail sales were more. This is also saying that yes, highest sales volume ever was witnessed last to last year. So it is just strengthening the premise. We are already given that as a fact. Prakash, is this clear?
Yes, sir. It was by Mohit, sir.
Right. Okay. Tough one, guys, tough one. We do tough ones in the class. Oh, I'll just go back. One thing I forgot to mention. I forgot to mention this one. This was an incorrect data collection. This was an incorrect data collection. Again, I'll reiterate this one last time because this is important. Current -1, current -2. This was $100. This was 150. Now, notice according to option alpha, what was happening is these were the 5 retail stores last to last year. Now, last year it was what? 3, R4, R5, R6, R7. Let's say these. Now, this $100 and $150 is being arrived at by doing what? Sum of all the retail volumes for these 5 stores, sum of all the retail volumes for these 5 stores. But this is incorrect data collection according to alpha. Obviously, why? Because these 2 new stores were not taken into account to arrive at this volume. So clearly alpha is a case of incorrect data collection.